This is Formula Side Quests,
your mostly on-topic Formula One podcast.
hosted by me, Kelly.
And me, Shannon.
Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Formula Side Quests, your mostly on-topic Formula One podcast with me, Kelly.
And me, Shannon.
Thank you very much for still being with us, the 10 listeners that we've got.
We've got a few more than that.
I hope so.
I genuinely think we do.
What I wanted to say was thank you very much for listening, because I think we've picked the best season to actually start a podcast and force us on to other people.
Yes.
Because we're only 2 races in, and oh my God, have we got a lot to talk about.
I agree. And there is the hype for Formula One in general in the world is only growing. It's become way more mainstream than it was even 4 years ago.
Yeah.
The mainstreamness.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that. Of Formula One is quite massive now. Even to the point in which you're seeing people who have next to no interest in the sport wearing team kit and wearing gear, and just because it's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God, are we doing something that's actually cool?
Oh my God, are we cool?
Are we cool? I don't you know what? I think the second you go, oh my God, are we cool? We're no longer cool.
No, that's very true. We are not cool. We are the least cool.
We are the least cool. It's fine. It doesn't matter. We have a podcast. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
But no, you're right. It's a very exciting season in terms of, I think there's a whole new set of fan base coming in. But it's also probably one of the most exciting seasons of racing we have had in a good 10 years, maybe.
Oh, yes, 100%. So as we are recording this, the race finished about just under an hour and a half ago. We are, of course, talking about Shanghai, race 2 of the season in China. Where do we start? Well, I suppose we should start with the sprint race very, very briefly.
Yes, actually, that's a very good point. We probably should round that up quickly.
So anybody who doesn't know a huge amount of Formula One, there are sprint races dotted around the season. These sprint races are always 19 laps. There isn't scheduled pit stops. However, we saw with this sprint race, there was a safety car and therefore there were pit stops.
Yes.
And the sprint race then allows for a few extra points. Again, dotted around the season. Not every single race has a sprint race. But they are very, very interesting.
They are like 18 to 19 laps, depending on the length of the track. They have their own set of qualifying, which is mind-bendingly fast and very difficult to keep up with, especially when, like me, you're sat on your living room floor trying to do your makeup and get ready for work while it's happening. But the key takeaway from them is that they do provide extra points in the championship, and I'm watching you do exactly what I just did on the app on my phone, which was what was the sprint finish points. So P8 and above gets points.
Yes.
And the main takeaway for me on that was double Ferrari podium.
Yay! Yeah, it was obviously this time last year at Shanghai, Lewis won the sprint.
Oh yeah, I was looking at you like, I don't remember. What are you about to say? I don't remember. Yes, of course he did. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He won the sprint at Shanghai.
Did he?
Yes. Yeah. And that was the only time that he was on the podium last year for Ferrari.
Yeah.
So obviously the sprint this time, and it's like, oh, we've got Lewis back on the podium, but it's a sprint. It doesn't really count as the podium.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Very true.
But even so, to have a double Ferrari in the sprint, and then watching them in qualifying, it geared us up for a very, very good race.
It did. It's made a huge difference also in the Constructors' Championship as well for points. Ferrari are trailing behind Merc, but only by about 20 odd points, 15, 20 points. And it is bringing the actual Ferrari drivers well into the fray of the Drivers' Championship as well. So it was a really key, any point on the board is a point on the board. But you're right, it got us into the concept of, hang on, we're going to go racing.
We are going to go racing. But before we go racing,
Yes.
we kind of need to talk about the start of the race.
Let's talk about who didn't go racing.
Yeah.
So another plethora of did not starts, which was incredibly disappointing. There were ones that we kind of knew were going to happen. So Alex Albon was already starting from the pit lane and looking
Slightly dodge.
Yeah, and unfortunately then just didn't make it out, full stop. Gabby was on the grid and ready to go, and then just before the formation lap was wheeled back off the grid.
Yeah.
And the next thing we know, he's out of the car with his headphones on, looking very depressed, bless his heart.
Yes.
But the kind of the landmark one here, is that we had Lando not making it out onto the grid before the formation lap was in the pits. They were looking like they were trying to get the car going, trying to do this, that, and the other, but it wasn't looking good.
And I mean, we switched on the what do you call it?
Coverage.
Thank you, coverage.
You're welcome. We've been up since 6. Bear with us.
We switched on the coverage at just gone 6:30.
Yeah,
and the shots of the car in the garage with the driver nowhere near.
Yeah, weren't it wasn't looking positive,
No.
but they were getting it off the stands. Lando was putting his gear on. We were thinking we were going for it, and then we got briefly distracted by the fact that Oscar then suddenly got wheeled off the grid himself.
Yeah.
So suddenly now both McLarens are in the garage. The teams are doing the last bit of fettling on the grid, and there are no McLarens to be seen.
None at all.
Off we go for the formation lap. We're going, are they going to start from the pits? Are they going to get them out of the garage? Are they going to line up at pit lane? No, nothing. Double McLaren, do not start.
Yes.
Shit.
Yes. I mean, that is literally all you can say.
It really is, because, I mean, poor Oscar. I know last week was unfortunately almost entirely his doing, and that's really, really sad, but that's one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
This week there was just absolutely no control whatsoever, and for someone who was like the main championship contender in 2025 to not have even done a singular lap in a main event race in 2026 is just heartbreaking.
It is. And both of them, obviously during the race, we had quick interviews with both of them in the media pen. And it was interesting that what was coming out from the garages was that it was a electronic issue, but weirdly it was different electronic issues with the cars. So Lando had a completely different one to Oscar. So it'll be interesting to see what investigations they're going to be doing and what comes from that. Obviously we've got 2 weeks now before Suzuka.
We do, yeah.
So that gives a little bit of breathing space for the engineers to work out what's going on, and hopefully, and I didn't think I was going to say this season, we'll actually see Oscar racing, because we haven't seen him racing yet.
No, we don't know. I mean, obviously he took part in the sprint. Where did he finish in the sprint? 6th. So he wasn't even really in the fray in the sprint, was he?
No.
And I don't think we've seen the full capability of that car from the perspective of Lando yet either. So I was expecting the McLarens to be far more competitive already.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that they're not. But hopefully we will get some papaya out. Again, not something I thought I'd say.
No.
But hopefully we will get some papaya out on track soon.
Yeah. It'll be nice to see Oscar at least.
At least someone, yeah. It's strange, isn't it? Because we were sort of like, okay, Oscar didn't get it in 25, but he's probably going to get it in 26. And then here we are just like, oh, nowhere near at this precise moment. I mean, I know it's only been 2 races and 1/3 of a race. Quarter of a race, bit of a race.
A bit of a race, yeah.
It doesn't really count.
Yeah.
So that was the plethora of people that didn't even start. So once again, we're on the grid with the potential for 22 cars, and we didn't even get anywhere near 22 cars starting. It's becoming a theme.
Yeah, there is a massive theme. One thing that I know it shouldn't excite me, but obviously I may have said something briefly in the other podcasts about Cadillac, how much I like Cadillac.
Had you?
Well, I didn't know whether it'd come across.
I'm not sure it had either. Or maybe I just stopped listening.
Oh, shut up. But interestingly enough, as much as in the early podcasts, I was like, oh yeah, Cadillac, I love Cadillac. And I want Cadillac to do well. I am practically thinking about it and going, well, they're a brand new team.
Yeah.
I'm expecting them to have a few issues at the start, not start. They're actually starting better than McLaren.
And they're going longer than McLaren.
They're going longer than McLaren.
And they're not getting any points, but they're also, well, I was going to say they're also not at the back of the field. They are at the back of the field.
They are at the back of the field, 100%
the
at the
nature
back
of what's
the
going on, the back of the field is like 14th, 15th, 16th. So, you know, it's a weird back of the field. But no, you're right. They are, the reliability of Cadillac is actually...
better than others.
Yeah. Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk? Yeah. So we're all there on the grid, ready for lights out.
Well, we're not all there.
Well, we're not all there.
We're like...
We weren't all there,
We
definitely.
weren't. No, it was too early. We were 2/3. No, because we started talking about crumpets at that point, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
It was
trumpets.
because of the trumpets.
Yeah, the trumpets and the crumpets.
We're giving no context to that whatsoever. Yes, we're about 2/3 of the way there. And lights out was one thing I will just briefly say. Lights out was correct.
Yes, lights out.
I just need to get that out there. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pause out. It was not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out. So no one was caught off guard as such. Off the line, as ever, Ferrari rocket ships, up we go. I said to you yesterday, didn't I, after qualifying?
You did.
It will be a Ferrari 1-2 by the time we get to the first corner. And it was.
It was.
It was, and that wasn't by virtue of anyone else getting a bad start this time. It was just literally they shot off the line again. A lot of grappling. We won't go too much into it because we'll be here for forever.
Yeah.
But the first few laps of the two Mercedes and the two Ferraris, a lot of grappling, a lot of back and forth, a lot of beautiful, very clean, very elegant racing.
Oh, God, yeah.
Exactly what we wanted to see. But can I just say, and we're both absolutely on this one, seeing Lewis Hamilton back at the front was my favourite part of the weekend.
Throughout the entire race, the pair of us we had so many moments where we were like, we are so happy that Lewis is there. And then things were happening, and then there was racing. There was proper racing.
Proper good racing.
There was so much good racing. And we're like, oh no, Lewis is in fourth. No, but do we want Lewis? No, we want Lewis on the podium. But then Charles isn't on the podium. But then what's going to happen there? And oh my God, there was so much between us of what do we want? We realised, I think this is the race really cemented it. We do not have favourites.
We really don't. All we said, and I am going to say this out loud. We said was, we actually don't care as long as George doesn't win.
That is correct. I will repeat that because she's giggling a lot. We really don't care who wins as long as it's not George Russell.
Sorry, George. Sorry. But no, we really, I mean, we genuinely couldn't. I mean, Charles is my driver. He is my absolute favourite. But always had a soft spot for Lewis. Started watching F1 properly in Lewis's rookie season. Always had a massive soft spot for him. Kind of, you know, always been in the, like, I've always been aware of it. I mean, I was quite young, but I've always been aware of him as a driver. And he is a fantastic driver. And he's such a lovely person. So watching that battle, and it was such beautiful, clean racing from both of them. The two sort of like, oh, you've got the two of the best drivers in the grid right now battling it out, was fantastic. But my heart was in my mouth the whole time. I was like, give each other space.
Yeah.
Don't do something stupid. Be very, very careful. But they are. They're both very clean, respectful drivers. So watching them battle throughout the entire race, I mean, we got a good, 3 instances of them sparring. Was wonderful. Really, really wonderful.
So lights out, away we go. We've gone. We've had some fantastic overtakes, undertakes, swapping, changing.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing the okey cokey out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just beautiful. It is proper racing.
And then we get a safety car.
And then we get a safety car.
So lap 10, Lance decides that he's had enough.
Bless him.
Bless him. Parks up in a really silly place. I would say that we don't actually know. This is the only downside with recording so quickly after the race, is we haven't quite got all the information yet.
Yeah.
But I should think from the way that he went out, it was a mechanical failure, not him deciding that he couldn't race anymore.
It looks like it.
He didn't go into the pits. He stopped on track. Which brought out a safety car because he wasn't in a very safe place. So immediately it's, pit lane madness, here we go.
Yes. And I remember going, safety car, right, Ferrari, are you going to bring them in? Oh my God, Lewis is coming in.
Yes. And then immediately afterwards,
Charles came in.
And
they double stacked.
Both Mercedes and Ferrari double stacked. And I have to say, both Mercedes and Ferraris nailed their double stack.
Genuinely, it was beautiful.
Really good. It was really, really good.
As much as we enjoy the racing, we are very much full Formula One nerds in that it is not just about what the drivers are doing on track, but what the strategists are doing, what the engineers are doing, what the pit lane crews are doing. It's all of it combines into the perfect race. If every single part of that works perfectly together.
Yeah.
And this race showed that if you get it all right, you get great racing.
Absolutely. And so it was really interesting to bring everyone back out and mix in your top runners with those that hadn't pitted. So after these beautiful double stacks, we look at the timing tower and suddenly Franco Colapinto in his Alpine is second.
And Esty Bestie is third in the Haas.
And you're looking at it going, hang on a second.
What alternate reality have we entered?
Literally, because there's a Mercedes in P1, an Alpine, a Haas, and then more Mercedes and Ferraris coming up their rear. I bet Franco was bloody terrified. Bless his heart. Poor thing. So that was very interesting. So, but then you had the moment of, actually, they're allowed to fight.
Yeah.
These are drivers that are normally having to, bless them, get out of the way under blue flags to allow cars to pass. Suddenly they're allowed to fight.
Yeah.
I'll admit it wasn't a long fight.
No, it wasn't, unfortunately, especially once the safety car came in and everybody was allowed to race again. It was very much I mean, to be fair, it was a couple of laps that Franco and Esty Bestie were still there, whilst George...
Yeah, while they sparred behind.
You know, because you had behind the top three, you had George, you had Lewis and Charles, and all three of them were just going,
back and
I'm
forth.
going this way, no, I'm going this way, no, you can't go this way, and then somebody else is coming around. And honestly, there's two Ferraris and a Mercedes. I know the Mercedes is George. I can't tell you which Ferrari is which because they were just
backwards and forwards the whole time.
All over the track.
And at one point, they were both in front of George, and we were, and there was an Alpine between them and him, and we wanted suddenly that Alpine to be the widest car you have ever seen in your life.
We were literally screaming at the TV, "You are a tank!
You are, think wide thoughts. You are wide." But inevitably, George obviously did get past Franco fairly quickly. One thing I'd just like to add into the addition of Lance and the safety car is the wonderful comment from Crofty in the box, where we had the shot of Lance on the back of the moped being taken back to the garage, and Crofty just goes, "I hope they haven't given him a Honda moped." Oh, what a bitchy comment. Flippin' hilarious, but what a bitchy comment. So funny. Anyway, then let's talk a little bit about midfield battles.
Gosh,
quickly,
there was
because there was one point where I think there was 6 or 7 cars battling each other
for fifth.
But what's mental about that is that Max Verstappen was one of them.
Yes.
I don't know how I do know how I feel about that. I'm not happy.
No, it's interesting at the moment in Red Bull in that. Yes, okay, we are still only 2 races in, but Max has voiced quite a lot of displeasure already around how the car is handling. And it's quite upsetting to see someone of Max's caliber come out of the car and just go, honestly, it's shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Because Max can do anything with any car. That's been proved many a time.
And not just in Formula One.
And not just in Formula One, cue Nordschleifer. But it's so shit that he's not able to do anything with it. I mean, we should be watching him carve his way all the way through the field and get himself involved in the melee between Merc and Ferrari right now.
Yeah.
And actually, I was expecting Isaac to be not far behind. But Isaac had a spin, and a bit of a bonk with an Alpine.
Yep. And that's a technical term, by the way.
That is a technical term, bit of a bonk. Because again, the car just gave him nothing, everything, which seems to be a regular issue at the moment. So yeah, it was a real shame. Max did a bit of an unclean pass around lap 22 on Pierre because he's driving angry. You can see him driving angry, and it makes me wince because we haven't had that from Max since like 2023.
Yeah.
Kind of 24, 25, Max has been quite chill and quite,
I mean, even coming into testing, Max was very, very chill. And he was...
absolutely.
Even though sometimes you'd be like, right, okay, well, we're not 100% about this, or we don't know about that, but his whole demeanour was very much a case of, but it'll be fine. We will be fine. And then obviously, coming out of Australia last week...
He wasn't fine.
He was not fine, bless him.
No. It's he's not enjoying it, and he's actively said he's not enjoying it, and it's really sad to see, especially when you're watching George, Kimi, Lewis, Charles have the time of their lives out there
and say that
watching Max get out of the car of a sport that he has dominated and should love, going, it's just shit. It's really, really sad to see. And then obviously this race, lap 46 suddenly
he lost power.
Everything just went. We actively watched the steering wheel just turn off.
Yeah. So the onboard angle was really interesting because he's coming along a straight, he goes around a corner, the entire steering wheel just goes blank.
Goes dead, yeah.
No lights, nothing whatsoever. You could hear the car stutter. It all comes back on. So it's basically, he's going so fast, he's jump-started himself again.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But then it cuts out almost immediately. It does the same thing. It comes back on. But the second time that it comes back on, the engine just sounded like it was clogged.
Yeah, it sounded horrific. And it was all an electrical issue.
Yeah.
But when you've got a car that's powered, like literally momentum powered 50% by electrics, and then obviously the rest of it is 100% electrics. There's barely any moving mechanical parts in an F1 car. It was not good. So he managed to limp back to the garage, but that was the end of that for him.
Yeah, sorry, Max.
And where did Isaac finish?
Let's
got
have
it in
a
front
look.
of you.
Isaac finished 8th.
Okay, so he scored some points, but not wonderful.
No, not wonderful, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just a real shame because I was really hoping that actually we'd have a three-way... Well, actually, I was kind of hoping a four-way constructors, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, RB.
Yeah.
But I was hoping at least a three, but it's not even looking like at the moment unless they can pull something out.
No, that's very true.
So, yeah. Okay. Couple of before we get to the end of the race, a couple of just other things to note. Lap 34, the contact between Franco and Esteban. It was not clear cut.
It really wasn't
until
because
Ocon spoke.
Yeah, so we were watching it. And obviously your first camera angle is from above and we're like, ooh, that looks a bit
That's dodge.
I wondered who was at fault there.
Yeah.
They then show on board from
Frank.
Ocon's point of view,
Oh, yeah.
and we're watching it and we're like, oh God, no, that's Franco.
It's
That is
all
all
Franco.
Franco's fault. He's gone in.
Yeah.
He's clearly not seen Esty Bestie
Mm-hmm.
and has just gone in, and
Yeah.
it's caused, a
A
slight
collision.
bonk.
A slight bonk. It was slightly bigger bonk than the other bonk.
It was a bigger bonk than the other bonk, yeah.
On the bonk scale.
But then Esty Bestie comes on the radio and he's like, yeah, no, that was all me.
That was all me. And we're going, was it?
Like,
was it? But it obviously was,
don't think so.
and I think what he meant was that he should have backed out of it sooner than he did. He was going, Franco was ahead, he had the racing line, Esty was coming on the inside, he'd just come out the pits, he had cold tyres, and I think he was just a little bit ambitious.
Yeah.
So I think his admittance was basically, yeah, no, I should have backed out. I know better than that.
Yeah.
And also, you are going on a baby. Like, it's only Franco's second season. I really questioned myself for a second.
No.
It's only Franco's second season. Esty's been on the grid for a very long time. He should know better. So he got a 10-second penalty for that. So he went in, did his 10-second penalty, and then suddenly one of the pit crew brings out friggin' bolt cutters and starts going at the underside of his car. It was like NASCAR level. You know when NASCAR cars come into pit and they bring out this massive hammer and start going at the car? Yeah. It was that, I was like, what are you doing to this multi-billion-pound F1 car with bolt cutters? And we still don't know.
I mean, it's British engineering at its finest, isn't it? It doesn't matter what garage you're in, you put a British engineer in there and they're like, right, what can we use?
Give me those bolt cutters, I'll get the floor off.
Oh, have we got multi-million-pound tools? Nah, bolt cutters, that's what we need.
I don't know why there are even bolt cutters in an F1 garage, but anyway, that was fairly amusing.
That's a good point, actually.
Who's got bolt cutters in an F1 garage? Yeah. Anyway. And then the last retiring of not the last, because Max was after, but the last one I'm going to mention is lap 35. Nando goes and parks up in the garage.
Yes.
And we had the conversation at the time of, I wonder if that was mechanical or of him saying, I can't do it. He goes to the media pen and he tells the journalists that he was losing feeling in his hands.
Yes, that is, it's heartbreaking.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying. You are actively breaking your drivers.
Yeah.
And you've already got one driver that's got hand issues. Like, Lance has had 2 operations on his hands.
His hands, yeah.
It's really scary to have a driver like Fernando Alonso retire the car 35 laps into a race because he can physically not drive it anymore. And this is a man that would have done like the Dodge regulations of the early 2000s,
yes.
Where it was...
I mean, that's probably the reason why he's got 2 world championships.
Probably. But he drove back when safety and conditions were just nowhere near what they are now.
No, exactly. Right.
He would have gone through some stuff. He also went through the porpoising era of whatever year that was, where everyone was getting back issues. Like, he's gone through loads of stuff. So for him to genuinely be pulling up in the garage and going, guys, I cannot do it anymore. Awful. Yeah. Absolutely awful. Really scary.
Yeah. Hopefully. Again, we've got 2 weeks now until Japan, so hopefully they can have a look at those kind of issues and see if they can sort it out.
Yeah. And then obviously we've got the break, which we'll come back to in a minute. But it gives them more time to develop.
It's heartbreaking to see such a fantastic team like Aston Martin, who. And I think we've mentioned this either the last podcast or the one before, but, when we were talking about our predictions, Aston Martin were never sort of a surprise, they're going to be midfield or anything like that. No. Because they are such a reliable team.
Well, you'd think, yeah.
They have been.
They have been in the past.
And it unfortunately is coming back to that Honda engine.
That bloody Honda engine.
Bloody Honda. Never trusted them. I've never had a Honda.
No.
And I don't want a Honda, especially not now.
No. It's not a very good advert, is it? Yes, so let's come to the end of the race. Kimi Antonelli's first win. Lewis's first podium with Ferrari. What a fantastic podium. So Bono got to go on the podium.
I mean,
for those that don't know, Bono was Lewis's race engineer for the entire time he was at Mercedes. They are excellent friends. They are still excellent friends.
They are still excellent friends.
And then he got Kimi when Kimi took Lewis's seat. And to be able to have Bono on the podium with his newest driver and his first race win in only his second season.
Yeah.
And to have Lewis with his first podium with Ferrari. It was just so beautiful and very emotional to watch.
I mean, I will freely admit this. I cried.
She did cry. She cried more than me.
I had a lot of tears in my eyes.
She actually cried more than me.
Started when Kimi started to cry.
Oh, Jesus Christ, because he couldn't talk.
He
couldn't talk, and David Coulthard's trying to ask him questions, and the poor kid's just crying, and you're like, just leave him alone.
He started crying, and David Coulthard just went silent because he was like,
oh no.
Well, what do I do now?
No, bless him. Kimi was really overcome with it. And good for him. So he should be.
Yeah. It's his first win.
It was an excellent win.
It was brilliant because once we'd gotten over the whole flip-flopping after the safety car.
Yeah.
And everybody sort of levelled out. The only real sort of battles we were getting was Lewis and Charles in third and fourth. And, we were like, oh my God, is Lewis going to get a podium or are we wanting Charles? But, what was it? We were in the mid-lap 40s where Charles comes on the radio going, that was really fun.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And we're like, oh, actually, no, they're enjoying themselves. Yeah. This is not, this is genuinely
okay.
them racing.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Kimi's 5 miles up the road, having the time of his life.
Obviously, we were, lap 53, and Kimi did a bit of understeer, locked up a little bit.
Had a heart attack.
And Bono just comes on the radio and he's like, kid, don't worry, you've got this, just bring it home.
Got 3 laps to go, let's just get it across the line. And he did, and he said afterwards he gave himself a heart attack. And what I enjoyed was Bono's response of just going, I know. Which was definitely subtext for and me.
Yes.
But luckily he was like a good 7 seconds in front of George.
He was, yeah.
He was 9 seconds in front of George, so he could afford to lose that like 2.5 seconds that he lost by locking and going wide. So he crossed the line with a solid gap. It was a fantastic drive. He does need to rein it in just slightly because he was doing a max. He kept just going, have a fastest lap. And I just had GP in the back of my mind when he goes to max going, can we bring it home now, please?
Yeah.
And Bono basically did the same thing for him, which is like, I get where you're coming from, but you don't need to. Especially now, we don't get an extra point for fastest lap.
No,
so it's just prestige.
Yeah, it's just, but
making a point,
banging on that prestige. Kimi, Raikkonen.
Hello,
sorry,
we've gone back in time.
That's my fault.
It's been years since Raikkonen.
It's been so long.
When did Raikkonen retire? Bloody hell.
2018.
There you go. Jeez.
I like Raikkonen. What can I say? I genuinely liked him. I did. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, he's the Iceman and he's,
Yeah, but he was funny.
He was so funny.
It was funny.
Anyway, that's not the point.
No.
Kimi Antonelli.
The other one.
First race win.
Mm-hmm.
Got driver of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Got fastest lap.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another one. What was it?
Well, he had pole position.
He had pole position. That was it.
Mm.
That.
What an entrance into a, you better be watching me.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. It was a fantastic
100%.
Fantastic weekend for him. I do think George had a good weekend as well. Like, we have to be fair. Fair play to him for holding on because obviously he had an issue in qualifying and he still managed to put it second. So he did have a good weekend. Very good points for Mercedes.
And then Lewis
coming in third, and you could see how much it meant. I mean, he was buzzing. He was absolutely buzzing.
He was literally vibrating.
By the
side of George,
bouncing up and down.
Interviews.
It was so lovely, and you could see how much it meant to him to be able to. I think it meant more to him to be able to share it with Kimi and Bono on Mother's Day. Yes. I think it was just a whole kismet thing for him.
Yeah, definitely.
That I think he's in a really good mental space, way better than he was last season. And I think all of this combined was just a really good, like, all the stars aligned and he had a lovely weekend. And you could just see he was so stoked for Kimi. And it was
he said as well in the interview about how much fun he was having with racing Charles and how he felt in the car just generally.
Yeah.
And again, like you say, this time last year, all right, it was only a couple of races in with Ferrari. He had one sprint, but he didn't get on the podium. But just a year later, there is such a difference.
Yeah, a lot's changed.
Such a difference.
It was also lovely to see the amount of feedback he was getting over the radio from his new race engineer.
Gosh,
whose name is massively escaping me, but funnily enough, he was Kimi Raikkonen's race engineer back in his days in Ferrari. Yeah. Maybe that's why that was on your brain.
Yeah.
But he was getting so much more feedback. You know, he was going to them and saying, I need more power. And rather than just an A-firm, he was getting we're on it, we're looking into it, we're doing something for you. He was talking about tyres and strategy calls. They were listening to him. It was really lovely to see the positive reinforced feedback that he was getting. And we also got a classic Charles and Brian interaction of Charles, as you mentioned on the radio, going, this is actually a lot of fun. And Brian just deadpan, as always, just went, I'm glad.
Yes.
Beautiful, fantastic.
Yes. Oh, you're having fun. We're not.
Stop it. Yeah, it was fantastic. But yeah, it was wonderful to see. And whilst I am disappointed that Charles was not on the podium, his post-race interview, he looked so happy.
Yeah.
He'd had fun. It wasn't that, I missed out on the podium because XYZ went wrong. It was just good, clean racing.
Yeah.
Either of them deserved that P3.
They really did.
But I'm really pleased that Lewis got it.
Yeah.
So that was the race.
Yep.
The only other thing that we're going to talk about and cover is the not such surprising news that we are getting the Middle Eastern races cancelled. So we're going to have no Bahrain and we are going to have no Jeddah.
No, which is it's a shame because we both said about how much we like Bahrain. Bahrain's a wonderful race. It's a beautiful track.
It's a night race. I adore a night race.
Jeddah's a good track as well, but unfortunately, due to the conflict in the Middle East at the moment, the FIA have taken the decision to cancel both races.
Yeah,
they are due to be held in April, which means that we've got no races in April. So once we've finished Suzuka in 2 weeks' time, we will then have a 5-week unplanned spring break.
Spring break, as everyone's calling it. Spring break!
Before the Miami race on the 3rd of May.
Which is mental. So 5 weeks is the longest, break in the whole season, realistically.
Yeah, it's a lot longer than the summer break.
Summer break's only ever 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The winter break, yes, okay, it's a few months, but in terms of when testing starts and development and whatever, so we have shutdown days in summer and we have shutdown days in winter, and neither of them are that long. Yeah. So then that makes the time that they're working on the cars longer. But a 5-week unplanned break is mental.
Yeah.
So the conversation that we immediately had was, what are the teams going to be allowed to do over this 5 weeks? Because every single team, even Merck out in front, have had issues. Every single team are going to want to work on the things that they're struggling with, and especially the bottom teams. I think we need to have some very, very clear rules coming out now of what they're allowed to do and what they're allowed to develop, because if there is a free-for-all here, Miami's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously the official statement from the FIA, it was interesting to read. Obviously they talk about how it was a difficult decision to take. However, it is the right one.
And I absolutely agree.
100%. You don't want to be putting anybody in unnecessary risk.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So it is the right decision. But just very briefly, looking at their statement, they don't actually mention anything about what the teams are allowed to do.
Yeah.
They mention the fact that, it was a difficult decision, that they considered looking at alternatives, but obviously it was too quick of a turnaround to actually put those alternatives in place. And again, that's absolutely fair. We said this as well, you know, they could have gone back to Shanghai, they could have gone back to Melbourne.
Yeah.
But then how quickly are you able to sell tickets? How many people would actually be there? It's and we've seen this during COVID, is very different racing when there's no spectators.
It really is. And it's a very different, you can't have an entire race weekend.
Exactly.
Because the Fridays sort of become nothing.
Yeah.
The media days sort of become nothing, and even that, you know, media schedules, journalists,
yeah, exactly,
schedules. We've been up for way too long.
But all of that, whilst it doesn't seem as important, so media day, for example, or free practice, doesn't seem as important as the actual race on a Sunday. All of that is planning for the drivers, mentality wise. It is planning for the engineers. It is planning for the pit crew. If you haven't got all of that, you're not going to get the results in the race that you want. So it is the right choice. It is the right decision.
I think replacing would have just been, bloody hell.
But does that mean that we've got essentially 5 weeks of tinkering?
I know. And I am genuinely so excited about this because we're gonna have, you know, we haven't got a lot of data to go on.
No.
By the time we go into the break, there only would have been 3 races, 1 sprint.
Yeah.
Japan's not a sprint, is it? Is Suzuka a sprint?
No, Suzuka's not a sprint.
So it only would have been 3 main races, 1 sprint. There's not a huge amount of data to go on. However, I would say there is enough. There's enough to know we have got the consistent issues with this car is X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Suddenly you've got 5 weeks where not only can you get your factory teams who are always at the factories on it, and they will have been on it the entire race weekend, etc., but you're now flying. This is what's going to happen. The south of England is about to become very busy.
Yes.
Because you are now about to fly, I would say, your entire pit crews and your entire race engineer crew and your drivers back to your factory.
Yeah.
If anyone lives anywhere near Milton Keynes, Brackley, or the Surrey area, and you want to see a driver in the wild, I'd say now's your time. If you want to see any drivers or engineers out in the wild, I would say that now's your chance, because I think everyone is going to be back at their factories.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to be back there getting the drivers in the sim, going, so we've tried this, this, and this. How does that feel? This is going to be such a key opportunity because the drivers will have been scheduled to be at races.
Exactly.
So they've got the time to get them back there.
And this is the thing. This is not a holiday.
No, it's not going to be. They're going to keep working.
Nobody is going to see it as a holiday either.
No.
It's just they're still waiting on confirmation from the FIA how much they are going to be allowed to do.
But there is going to be no rules in place because they can't put any rules in place about how many hours you can put a driver in a sim.
No.
There's going to be no rules in place about how many hours an engineer can spend hypothetically creating a setup. Like, they can put rules in place about you physically cannot change that part on the car. We won't let you. But they can't put behind the scenes rules in place. The only time they ever do that is the enforced shutdown days across summer and winter when no one is allowed in the factories. Yeah. But the actual, what you are actually going to develop, there are very limited things the FIA can do to stop them. And you can probably hear, I am so excited.
Oh God,
we are so excited.
We are literally buzzing about this.
Because I just have this dream, and I hope it's going to happen. I so hope it's going to happen, that we get off the line in Miami and suddenly there are 4 constructors having a melee up in the front.
Yeah.
I'm praying that Red Bull and McLaren get their shit together and get themselves up there. Yeah. I am praying that Aston get their shit together and put themselves in the midfield. And I'm praying that Cadillac just iron out a couple of things and manage to finish every single race.
Yeah.
It would be stunning.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed, 5 weeks of no racing, and oh shit, we're going to have to find some content to make.
Don't worry, we'll find content. If there is anything that we are good at doing,
it's finding content. It's talking about this sport. But this could be huge.
Yes.
And if you want to read a more eloquent and truncated version of that ramble, then head to our Instagram to read the article that I wrote in 10 minutes sat on my stairs going, oh my God, Kelly, oh my God, Kelly, oh my God, Kelly, think about this. That's basically what that article is. So go and check that out if you want to.
Right, okay, so that is it for this week's episode. Obviously, we will not have an episode next week.
No.
Oh
my God.
We're having a break, as well as the drivers. I think it's allowed. However, we will be back in 2 weeks' time for our race roundup of Suzuka. But for now, that was our race roundup of... where were we? Shanghai. We were at Shanghai.
I could see that coming.
My God.
As you were gearing up to do that, I was like, she's not going to know. She's not going to know.
So that was our race roundup of Shanghai. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you are enjoying it, because I got to say, we're enjoying it.
We're really enjoying it.
We are having so much fun with this.
We really are.
But that is your episode of Formula Side Quest, your mostly on-topic Formula 1 podcast with me, Kelly.
And me, Shannon.
Bye.
Bye.